Today I'm going to try and solve a problem, hopefully, with people that are looking at this polytunnel. I can't be the only one that's come across this problem with aluminium base rails at the ends, trying to get all the pleated plastic into the aluminium base rail. I can't be the only one, so I'm going to put how I've had to go around doing it, because things online don't show when you've got a polytunnel and the plastic goes all the way down to the bottom, how that ends up looking, or how you do it with the aluminium base rail. Nothing I've seen on YouTube is showing it, and the place that supplied the polytunnel, First Tunnels, they miss that bit out. Basically, some of these polytunnels have a net halfway down for ventilation. If that's the case, and you've got a rail further up, all the pleated bits, well, some of it will miss it. You won't have as many pleated bits. They'll go into the side of the door. You can go less of a 45-degree angle than they suggest in the manual, and more of a 90-degree angle. You could get it mostly towards the door. Obviously, with all this plastic going towards, there'd be too much, and I'd rack my brains really how you do it with the plastic insert. It was bad enough trying to get the bit of plastic in the aluminium frame with just a single piece of plastic being there. The plastic, you know, he'd had a rubber mallet. It said push it in lightly with a screwdriver. Well, the screwdriver went through the plastic. That's the insert it went through. None of it was easy. And then when I got to all this lot where it's pleated, well, there was just no way. And in fact, it was so hard putting it in the sides that in some places where I started whacking it in, it was actually cutting the polythene where I was having to try and push it in. It was that tight. It was 15, 16 degrees. Wasn't the warmest weather to be doing it in, but it was mild, and it was a complete pain, really. I would definitely go with wood next time, base rail, and I'll show you why. If you look here at the size of this trim, it's tiny. It's really narrow, and in fact in the instructions, I mean, my hand looks small because I'm holding it away. Hands aren't that small, and neither is this rail, but it's, my fingernail is about, sorry not to swear, the length of my fingernail is about as wide as this trim is. So in the instruction manual, either the person in the manual had tiny hands and feet, or the rail was really big, because well, it looks like the rail's big, and it's just not. When it turns up, it's tiny. In fact, you can only get a toe on it to push it down. The idea is that you release the bolts at the sides on the hoops, and then you can push this really tight down, and it'd be nice if it was thick enough to get your foot on it. Well, to get round my situation that I've had with these end base rails, what I've had to do is cut a piece of oak down. It's 50mm thick and 4 inches wide, and however long your polytunnel, wide your polytunnel is, up to your door frame, say, and create a rebate like you do around the door. It was supposed to be aluminium trim, but you'd never get all these pleats in it, and there's that way of doing it. I've seen some First Tunnels, polytunnels that are perhaps older, where they actually have the timber higher up. So if you've got the timber, say, at the end where the hoop comes straight, you could go across here with it. All the pleats could go into that. You could use the timber battens like the rebate, and then the next lot could be straight and pulled down and then go into the aluminium. But their manual doesn't tell you to do it like that on the one we've bought. It tells you to go 30 centimetres from the floor up, where that first piece of timber is there that I'm pointing at, and it's no good, really. So you end up with all these pleats in it, and they won't go in that trim, and they're not showing you it going in that trim, and I'm not surprised they're not, because it won't go. And Obviously they want to show you, they're showing you the ones with a net round and things like that, but not where this is going all the way down to the bottom. What I've had to do there is get that angle in the way that the shape of this bracket is, you see, and cut it like that. I mean, the bolt's not in the ideal position because this is what I've had to do, and mock something up, and I've had to still be able to get to this nut here, but it's oak, you know, it's not softwood, although that doesn't look like there's a lot of clearance around there of wood. I'm standing on this thing and it's holding things fine. It's absolutely fine, standing on it to, you know, both feet off the ground on that. Oak is hard, you know, I'm a tree surgeon by trade and I trust oak. So I've solved the problem. But, you know, some people might think this is a mess. But as long as it's even, I think, as long as you can get it fairly even, I'm not too bothered about it. But the frustration is, I bought a rail, an aluminium rail, and then I've had to go and make my own rail because it doesn't work. So, as you can see, we've got this rebated thing here. So we had a batten behind here. So against the oak, this batten, you're best to use stainless steel with oak. If you do use oak, if you use some other hardwood, that'd be good. And then you put your polythene behind it, pull tight at a 45-degree angle, as said in the manual, and then batten it. So if you've made the mistake of getting aluminium base rail, that timber siding is probably the way to fix it. You can still have aluminium base rail along there, but I would reckon have an extra bit of timber up higher to get all the pleats into first and then straighten it out. Try it that way, or just do what I've done, pull all the pleats down, have the timber rebates and go into timber at the sides, and that was a quick fix. Otherwise, struggling to get them pleats in that bit of plastic, you know, unless it's just the type I've got, unless it's the type of Polytunnel, the company that's, you get different base rails, and there's a better one out there. But, you know, once you've done the side and then you find out you've got to try and get that lot in there, it was a no-brainer for me. Impossible, I'd say. So hopefully this video's been useful. Come back and see our channel and see the finished tunnel. The doors are finished on it, and I'll talk about any other problems I've found and whether this is any good. We've got a lot to do, we've got the beds to put in, so if you're interested in this kind of thing and interested in off-grid type thing, like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.